What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Parkside podcast. My name is Ryan, and we're here to talk all things Disney. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Parkside podcast. Welcome back, everybody. So, a little bit about me. My name is Ryan, and I am a huge Disney fan. So, I just wanted to take a little bit and tell you about my journey to get here. I have loved Disney for a long time. My first go to the park experience was when I was in seventh grade. Seventh grade was actually the second because the first time was when I was a child, and by child I mean baby, and I don't remember that. So seventh grade was my first opportunity to go to Walt Disney World, and during that time it was a lot different than it is now. I was about obviously 13 or 14 years old, and I went with a friend of mine from middle school, and we went down and we actually stayed off property. So that's a big deal, staying off property versus staying on Disney property. I feel like staying on Disney property is just the experience is so much better. Um, but we stayed off property, so we drove to Disney every single day, which was great. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great opportunity to still go and visit Disney and it be a little bit more on the affordable side and things like that. So we went to Disney, and during that time, what I remember that is so different from now is each park had a daytime parade. And I was talking to one of my friends about this the other day. Is how Animal Kingdom had a cool jungle themed parade. Epcot had Tapestry of Nations parade that walked around the whole World Showcase. Then there was the Pixar parade that was in Hollywood Studios, and then obviously there's always a daytime parade in Magic Kingdom, and so they had all of those happening at the same time during, and so you're always trying to figure out which park to go to throughout the day because you obviously didn't want to miss the parade. Like that's one of the coolest parts of the whole Disney experience is the entertainment. So the parade was a must see. So you're trying to figure out which day to go to which park, and it almost made sense to go 4 days and do one park each day because the entertainment was so specific to those parks, and you knew you were going to get the same thing from each of those parks. And so that was something we had to try and figure out. The parade at Magic Kingdom was the one with the snow globes that were around the characters on top of the big floats, and I remember that like it was yesterday. It was so crazy. Just some cool experiences, being able to live that and think about what it was like then, and then coming forward during COVID was a totally different time. And so to backtrack a little bit, by the time I was like 18, 19, 20, I had some best friends back home that I went to Disney with. Their name is the Ellisons. They're sisters, and so I would go with them quite frequently, all the time. I remember there was one trip that me and the older sister lived in Richmond, Virginia together. We drove down to Cleveland, Tennessee to pick up a sister that was in college there, and then we drove all night to Orlando to go on a Disney trip. And these are just memories that we made that are just super cool to think back on and know that we did it, and it was so much fun, and we were super excited. And we always, every time we drove, we put Donald Duck, a plushie of Donald Duck, in the front of the car, and he would lead the way, and we would have that reminder. If we were getting tired or hungry or we needed to stop, we were like, no, we got to press on with Donald. This is Donald. He needs to get back to Disney. So that was a super cool memory that we had. But the cool thing about going to Disney with them is we all had the same thought process. We weren't, if somebody wasn't miserable, somebody didn't want to be there, we all wanted to go to Disney and partake in all the same things. We wanted to see the entertainment. We wanted to ride the rides. We wanted to people watch. We love the atmosphere. So I just feel like having those people when you go to Disney is truly important, that, you go with the right people that you can experience all the things with. I feel like that's a super big part of it. Now, the sister that we met in Cleveland and drove down to Orlando, she's the second oldest. Her name is Kristen. Her and I actually are the roller coaster gurus, people, freaks of the Disney group with her sisters and me. So we loved going on Big Thunder Mountain. We loved doing Space Mountain. We loved doing Rock and Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror and things like that. Um, so that was just a cool thing for her and I and the sisters. There's one other sister that would come along sometimes, depending on the ride, if it wasn't too scary for her. But for the most part, they would sit out, hold our stuff. We would ride the ride, come back, and then we'd go do something we all wanted to go do. Especially the People Mover. We love the People Mover in Magic Kingdom, and so we did that, and it was great. So fast forward a little bit, like I said, to COVID, and how COVID was a different time than when I went my first time in 7th grade. Then I became a young adult and went back, and we had amazing fun then. But then you hit COVID, and COVID was completely different, man. To see the please wait here signs on the ground, the stay 6 feet apart, the dots on the ferry or the monorail where you had to stand. You couldn't stand next to people that weren't part of your group and things like that. We went in July of 2020, so it opened back up from closing down in March. It opened back up in June, and then in July, excuse me, I think it was the first week or two that we went, and I have pictures of it being 1 o'clock on Main Street. And usually at that point of the day, it is a lot of people on Main Street, but there was absolutely nobody. It was the craziest thing to stand there and know that you're looking at a castle, and it's almost like you're the only guest in the park. Like, I have so many pictures of the castle, and it's only us. It's only us standing there. It was the wildest thing. Of course, for Florida, we had to wear the masks. Or during that time, it was hot in Florida is what I was trying to say. It was hot in Florida, so having to wear the mask during COVID, outside, walking around. The only time you could take it off was when you were eating. And of course, you know, wherever the restaurants were, you had to sit apart from other people. So it was only your group, which I kind of like. That's okay. It was only your group that was sitting at a table together and eating and things like that. And man, it was just a unique time. And we got to experience that. And we talk about that to this day of the craziness that was COVID and Disney World. Like, that was just a wild part, and it was nobody there, and that could be because of two things. That, you know, people were still kind of afraid at that time because they still weren't fully aware of what was happening. So I feel like that had something to do with it, and or capacity for Disney. Like, they had a cap of how many people could come, and so once they reached that number, nobody else could come in, which was insane that it was that small amount of people. But they still did entertainment. They still had the shows. They still had the cavalcades. That's where the cavalcades came from, was from the COVID time, and they still have the Adventure Friends cavalcade now. They've kept that going, which is fantastic because it has over like 20 something characters in this small little cavalcade that comes through. You know, you're standing there, it speeds by, and within like 5 minutes it's over, and you can go back, you know, to what you were doing in your day on the park. So I look back to that and thankful for the cavalcades because there were some cool ones. I know during Halloween they had a Jack and Sally cavalcade that came by. There was a Tinkerbell cavalcade. There was a Fantasyland cavalcade. Like, there was so many cavalcades that just came throughout the day. And I just thought they were so neat because they couldn't do the 3 o'clock parade because that would cause people to gather along the streets and be close to each other. And so they had to make small little parades called cavalcades to bring the people or bring the characters back out and around, because that's what makes Disney World, is the characters. And so they didn't want people to gather for long periods of time, so it was a quick hit, you know. So that's why the Friendship Cavalcade is still a quick hit. They go by, and you're back to your day, which I think is great that they still have that. But they also brought back the Festival of Fantasy Parade, and now they added Starlight, the nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. Oh, it is so good. We'll talk about that in a minute. So then, after COVID coming back now, so it's been, you know, what, 7 years since COVID? 6, 7, that's crazy. 6, 7 years since COVID, so we are almost back to full-blown things at Disney World, which is great. No more things on the ground. No more capacity caps. You know, people are back in lines, regular. People are enjoying entertainment again, doing autographs, all that kind of stuff from characters. And so it's a good time to be in Disney World. I absolutely love it. And speaking of loving Disney World, I just came back from Disney yesterday. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my trip that I just experienced. I was only there for 3 days, stayed at All Star Sports, and what a magical weekend it was. I wanted to go down because there was a bunch of new things that just opened on May 26th, and I wanted to see those things. And so to cover those things, I wanted to tell you about them really quick, and then I want to talk about them personally as I'm talking about them. Rocking Roller Coaster starring the Muppets just opened, so that was Rocking Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. It's now the Muppets. So that is super cool. I didn't get to experience it because the line was so long. It was a 155 plus minute wait every day I was there. And if I did that, there were so many other things that I could not experience. So I was not able to ride Rock and Roller Coaster, but it's still on my list to do. I am going back in July. So when I go back in July, I'll be there a little bit longer. And so I do want to experience it then. Also, the Animation Courtyard is amazing. What a cool experience Animation Courtyard is. So I went in and I watched The Little Mermaid show. So if you haven't seen The Little Mermaid show, that's also in Hollywood Studios. And The Little Mermaid show, they redid it. The colors are bright. The actress and actors are amazing. Ariel, that was singing in this musical that happens there in that theater, was absolutely phenomenal this past weekend. She did a great job. So shout out to her. I don't know if she's listening, but great job to you on the Little Mermaid musical in Hollywood Studios. But once you exit The Little Mermaid, you come out into Animation Courtyard. And when I came out, there was a band playing. Goofy was dancing with the band. Donald Duck was around the corner. Stitch was around the corner. There was Rapunzel and Chip and Dale. Like, they were all just roaming in this small little area, and it was so cool. It was not overpacked. People were spread out. People were sitting on the turf or the grass under the tree, just taking in the sights and sounds. You look around, you see different characters on different parts of the buildings and the shade coverings and the trees. If you walked over to the entrance to the new Disney Junior live show, there is handprints, like a walk of fame, like in Hollywood. There's all these handprints of all the different characters. So I saw Simba and Mufasa next to each other. There was Hunchback of Notre Dame. There was Wreck-It Ralph was there. Like, it was just so cool to see these the handprints and things like that of all these characters that I've grown up on and I've seen like in the movies, and all their handprints are actually there, like, and their names are above it. It was so cool. I love the Animation Courtyard. There's always something happening, and the animation hat, or the hat that's in the courtyard area, is similar to the one that used to be the focal point in the center of Hollywood Studios. And so I'm super glad the hat is back in Hollywood Studios. Like, it's so cool. And then they have, across from the Little Mermaid show, or the Little Mermaid musical show, is the new Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live. And what a cool experience that is for the kids. Like, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Pluto are all in there. And the kiddos can go in there, have a great time. It's all air conditioned. The lights are turned down. There's a stage. It's a full show. So your kids can dance along to all the music and things like that. Parents get a break in the shade and air conditioning as well. So what just a cool experience, from the musical, Little Mermaid musical, to the Animation Courtyard, all the way over to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse live show. What just a cool experience is for that whole part of the park, and it's majority brand new. And they're only adding on to the Animation Courtyard, so I can't wait to see what's going on inside the building. It's going to be super cool as well. Over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Disney Animal Kingdom theme park, is Bluey's Wild World. So I know when that first opened up on May 26th, the first 3 or 4 days, you had to get a virtual queue to get on the train to take you out there to where Bluey is. The virtual queue is now gone, which is great. So you just hop on the train, head out there, and you can hang out with Bluey and Bingo. Now, there is a kangaroo and wallaby section where the goats and the pigs and the petting zoo used to be. The kangaroo and the wallaby section is not open yet. So you can go through and see the animals, but you can't go in there. Eventually, because the kangaroo and the wallabies are still in training, still trying to get used to their new habitat, you will be able to go in there eventually and be able to pet those animals, from my understanding of talking to the cast members. So that is a cool thing that's coming. But once you go into the building where Bluey and Bingo are, you're kind of waiting in a queue to go to this Bluey and Bingo dance show, dance party show type thing. Um, Now, while you're standing in line, you are seeing the show happen. So if you're like in the very back, you will see the show a couple of times. If that's okay with you, then by all means go do it. Um, if you've seen it and you're like, okay, if this is the same thing over and over again, like you don't have to stick around because you can't really stop and get autographs. You can't really stop and take pictures with Bluey and Bingo. It's just like a quick hit and miss show, and out you go. So super cool experience. If your kids love Bluey and they love Bingo, I would definitely say go visit them. Just what a cool experience that is for Bluey to finally be in the Disney parks. So go check that out. Epcot, Soaring Across America. So brand new show for Soarin'. So it used to be Soaring Around the World. Now it's Across America for the 250th birthday of America. What a cool show! It goes across obviously the United States, and they're hitting different parts from the cow fields to Mount Rushmore to huge waterfalls to it flies over Epcot. It's just a great show that reflects America and something that you can be proud of for 250th anniversary or 250th birthday of America. So a cool show that I loved and really, really enjoyed watching. Now, is it as good as Soaring Across America? I mean, Soaring Across Around the World? I don't think so. It's a great show. Don't get me wrong, but I still think Soaring Around the World is better. When they're going from scene to scene, the layovers to like go from one scene to the next fits better around the world versus across America. But it's still a very patriotic, great show. Still something I feel like everybody should see. If you go and visit, don't miss it. It's not one of those that you want to miss. See it one time. If you don't like it, great. At least you can say you saw it and was a part of history for it to be around. But definitely go and check that out. And then also May 26th through September 8th is complimentary water park admission. So on your day of check-in at your hotel, if you're staying on Disney property, you get free access, complimentary access, to either Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach. You do have to choose one or the other, but they are both open. So when they did this last year, Typhoon Lagoon was open one part of the year, Blizzard Beach was open the other part of the year. So you didn't really have the option. You were told to go to which park. So this year, you have the option. So by all means, take advantage of that. Get an early flight in or drive early to the Disney parks for your vacation on that check-in day. If you get there at like 10 o'clock in the morning, you can take your stuff to Bell Service. They'll hold your things, and you can go spend the day at the water park and have the best time. Come back, rooms ready, go in, shower up, and then get ready to go out for your evening activities for dinner or whatever the case may be. So yeah, lots of cool things happening. It was a fantastic trip, like I said. I did watch Starlight and Happily Ever After. Starlight is a fantastic parade. I absolutely love the floats. I love the lights. I got to see Wendy and Peter fly for the first time in person, and that was just one of the coolest experiences. It's so magical to watch them go up in the air while the float is moving down Main Street. Like, what a cool thing to see. So I saw it twice because on Saturdays it runs at 9 and 11. Park closes at 11, so you're like staying a little bit extra, which is great because right when it starts is when the park closes. But I love it. And then Happily Ever After is my favorite fireworks show that Disney World does. It is absolutely phenomenal. The music is great, brings a tear to your eye, makes you believe and trust in yourself and the things around you, and the message is great. The singers are phenomenal, and I just love Happily Ever After. And then I went and watched Luminous on Sunday night. Luminous is at Epcot. I went and ate at Cape May Cafe for breakfast with the characters. So that was Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy. That was a lot of fun. Eating at Cape May Cafe. What else did I do? I said I stayed at All Star Sports. I visited. I didn't go to Animal Kingdom. No, I did go to Animal Kingdom. I went to see Bluey. And then I went to Disney Springs Sunday night. So got to do a little bit of shopping, walking around. I love a good Disney Springs trip. There's just so much happening there. So many people. The nightlife is great. The music is fantastic. So love going to Disney Springs at night. And it's a lot cooler because it was a little hot. It was a little hot the past couple days, but there was a nice breeze blowing, and so I really really enjoyed the breeze that was blowing, especially during Luminous and Epcot. That was I was standing on top of the bridge between France and England or the UK, and there was a nice breeze blowing across the bridge there, and so it was blowing the smoke from the fireworks towards us. Great, it was doing that, but it's fine. But we got to enjoy the breeze as well during the fireworks, so it wasn't like just hot. Because there's been times that I've gone and it's just stale and hot. You're just standing there sweating. So that's crazy. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about for the new things that just came out are happening is Disney and AccuWeather have launched a dedicated weather app for the theme parks. And the guests can download this app and you can track the weather from AccuWeather while at the parks. They have joined up together and doing a partnership, and just a cool way to like be immersed in Disney some more. So like if you're worried about the weather or you need notifications, check that out. There's an article on online that you can, if you just Google the Disney AccuWeather launch of the dedicated weather app, it will come up, and you can read all about it and figure out what you need to do to be able to access that, use that, because that is a great tool. Because like I said, storms can pop up at any time in Disney. Florida is very known for that, so I think that would be a great app for you all to download and to just keep track of things that are happening, so you can jump into a shop or into a restaurant really quick while the rain is about to start or whatever the case may be. So I think that's great. So yeah, a lot of new things happened around May 26th. Everything that I just mentioned are definitely the things that are the newest and things that have happened since the May 26th opening date. So super cool. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I am an annual pass holder for Disney World. So also right now is annual pass holder, excuse me, summer. There's lots of discounts and lots of things happening. I got a free magnet. It's a Woody and Buzz Lightyear magnet because the Toy Story 5 is about to come out, I believe, next week or a week and a half. So we got a magnet for that. Magnets are a very popular thing because we get them free with the annual pass. I have tons of them. I've been annual pass holder for lots of years now, so love that. And then there was an earthquake at Disney. I don't know if you heard that, but it happened yesterday. I flew home yesterday about 11 o'clock, and when I landed, I landed in Greensboro and drove down to Charlotte. And by the time I landed in Greensboro, I was getting notifications that an earthquake was felt in Orlando. The earthquake itself did not happen in Orlando. It happened down near South America, but you could feel it in Disney World. And I just think that's so crazy because to experience that while you're standing in line for a ride or if you're eating or something in Disney, like when you're in Disney, you just don't think of things happening like that. And so feeling it would just be crazy. So yeah, earthquake happening at Disney is insane. So yeah. So that part of the podcast is going to be about the new things that are happening in Disney. The first part of the podcast is going to be more about me and stories and experiences that I've had. I'm going to ask some questions for you guys to comment down below on, and read some comments out loud, give some shout outs, things like that. So definitely interactive podcast. So leave comments below. Let me know your thoughts, all that kind of stuff. And then the final segment is going to be some tips and tricks for you guys. So I've been going to Disney for a long time, and I just feel like I have some firsthand knowledge of things that I would like to help you plan your next vacation. So for this part of it, it's going to be about where to start your day in each park. So for the Magic Kingdom, if you're a thrill seeker and you're trying to go to Tron or Space Mountain, I wouldn't really recommend, or I really wouldn't say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train's a thrill-seeking ride, but if that is one that your kiddos are excited about and want to do, then I would say definitely hit those first when you are going into those parks. If you are trying to just hit as many rides as you can before the craziness comes into the park, then I would say go towards Adventureland. So Adventureland, there's Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tiana's Bayou, Big Thunder Mountain, You can do Aladdin's Magic Carpets. Then you can work your way around to Haunted Mansion and Small World and Peter Pan, and then make your way to Fantasyland and do rides there. And in the first 2 hours, you can get through at least 6 or 7 rides if you are not going for those big rides. Big Thunder is new right now, and I did ride that one as well. It was fantastic. It was so smooth. The new track is phenomenal going around the turns. It's not bumpy. It was insane. It actually blew my mind how smooth that ride was. So that did just recently open back up, and so Big Thunder is going to be one of those that also is going to get more people. But yes, if you go towards Adventureland, you'll be able to get through so many more rides, at least 6 or 7 in the first 2 hours that the park is open, and I feel like that is the correct way to go unless you are trying to get on one of the 4 that I mentioned of Tron, Space Mountain, Big Thunder, or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So just to keep that in the back of your mind. For Epcot, I would go probably more, again, if you're for the thrill seeker, then you're trying to get to Guardians of the Galaxy. Head straight to Guardians of the Galaxy. Do not pass go. Do not collect $300, $200, whatever the saying is. But go straight to Guardians of the Galaxy and focus on that, and then afterwards you can start hitting other rides. The lines will be a little bit longer, but at least you got the one that you wanted to do out of the way. If you are just trying to hit rides and you wanted to do in the first 2 hours like you did at Magic, I would definitely go over towards the land area. So you have Finding Nemo. You can do Turtle Talk with Rush. You can see the aquarium. Living with the Land boat ride, the Soaring Across America, the Figment ride. There's a bunch in that little corridor that you can hit right one after the other. So I would recommend going that direction if you were just trying to get rides done. You're excited to be there, and you're not really going for that thrill of the fast rides, which you can do later in the day as well. Later at night, lines tend to go down during the fireworks. So if you're interested in doing all of the bigger rides like Test Track, Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say to wait to do those later into the night because Epcot does close at 9 o'clock. And so about the 8:15 to 8:30 hour or time frame, everybody starts going towards the World Showcase. So you can just, if you're not interested in fireworks, you can head to Guardians of the Galaxy and Test Track at that point and be able to conquer those with little to no wait, I believe, at nighttime. Moving on to Hollywood Studios, I talked about it earlier in this podcast. The Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets is definitely a popular thing right now. So if you want to avoid that area, I would say to go to Toy Story or Star Wars Land. Take advantage of getting on Slinky Dog or Rise of the Resistance, or even go straight down and get on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think that's a great choice as well. If you're there for the thrill seek and you want to get Rock and Roller Coaster out of the way, I would head straight down Sunset Boulevard, go do Rock and Roller Coaster, and then hit Tower of Terror, which is right beside it, because that will be a low wait as well because everybody will be at Rock and Roller Coaster. So that's the way to conquer Hollywood Studios. And then last but not least, Animal Kingdom. I would definitely, everybody likes to go towards Flight of Passage. It can be a very long line. I've seen it up to, when it first opened, it was like over 300-minute wait, which is absolutely crazy. I don't think I would wait in line for anything that long, but maybe so. But if you want to go and do that, that's where I would head to Avatar, the Avatar Land in Animal Kingdom, get Flight of Passage out of the way, and then you'll have the rest of the day to conquer everything else. If you're not interested in that, nobody's going to go towards Everest or Kali River Rapids. Even the safari will be a very light wait as well. And then you can go back and do Flight of Passage and Navi River later in the day because Animal Kingdom does tend to close a little bit earlier, about 6, 7, or 8 o'clock in the evening. So a lot of people start leaving around 3, 4 o'clock because they think it's a half park day. I think it's a full park. There's lots to do, lots to see, lots to eat, things like that, shows. So a really great park. So I would head towards Everest first or Safari and then wait for Flight of Passage for later. And make sure you see Zootopia, which is underneath the Tree of Life, took place of A Bug's Life. I think it's a super great show, super kid-friendly, not scary like A Bug's Life was at one time, but super, super fun and engaging for the whole family. So yeah, this is our podcast. I want you to please come back and hang out with us every single week. We're going to talk about Disney every single week, and it's going to be great. Please check out our social media, so Instagram and TikTok. It's going to be at the Parkside Podcast will be the handle for those. And then make sure you click the bell so you get notifications of when we go live. If we're in the parks and things like that, we're going to try to do some live streams. But also you'll get notifications when new podcasts are posted every single week. It's going to be a great time. I'm glad you guys are with us. And so we'll see you next week on the Parkside Podcast. Have a great day. Bye.